from bringing you, you can cut this bit, yeah? Hello and welcome to The Money Movement, and today we're going to be talking about lifetime ISAs, or as they're otherwise known as LISAs. Lifetime ISAs are a type of ISA which we're going to bring a full video out explaining what ISAs are, but they stand for individual savings accounts, and they are, to all intents and purposes, just somewhere where you can save your money, which is a little bit more tax efficient than saving it in your bank account. It means that any growth, if you invest the funds, or any interest, if it's cash, is tax-free and you don't have to pay any income tax or capital gains tax on the proceeds. So on to what a lifetime ISA is. Now, I'm really excited about lifetime ISAs because this is what I used to buy my first property. Lifetime ISAs have two uses. They can either be used to buy your first property, so used as a deposit, or they can be used as a retirement fund when you are 60. Today, we are just going to focus on the use for first-time buyers. So how lifetime ISAs work is that you pay into it, the money you have saved elsewhere. The main benefit is that the government encourage you to save through applying a bonus to the money that you add to the account. And that is 25% of everything you pay in. So if you pay in £100, the government bonus is 25% of that, so £25, and it's paid directly into your ISA alongside your 100. You can do this for up to £4,000 per tax year. Tax years are slightly different to normal years, so instead of going from January to December, tax years go from April to April. You can get a maximum government bonus of £1,000, which is 25% of the maximum you can put in, £4,000. So how does this work in practice? So if you're lucky enough to have £4,000 saved in a savings account with your bank, let's say, or in your current account, but you know it's going to be to buy your first property and that's the aim, you can put it into a lifetime ISA and you'll get the government bonus. Let's say, for example, you had £4,000 saved and you could save another £4,000 a year from your extra income that you're saving towards a house. You put the £4,000 in you have today and that turns into £5,000 because of the government bonus. And then you put in April after that another £4,000 and you get another government bonus of £1,000. So all things being equal, you would have put in £4,000 this year, £4,000 the next year. You would have had a £1,000 bonus, a £1,000 bonus the next year. So 5,000 plus 5,000 means your lifetime ISA is now worth 10,000 in total. This £10,000 can then be used when buying your first home as a deposit. So typically how you buy a house is with a mortgage. So this is when you put down a deposit of say 5% or 10% of the property value, and then the rest is lent to you via a bank, and then you pay the bank back over say 30 years to own the house outright. So for example, if you were buying a £200,000 home and you needed a 10% deposit, you would need to put £20,000 down as a deposit. So that £10,000 you have in your lifetime ISA can be used to fund that £20,000. And of course, if you've been saving into an ISA for 4-5 years, then you'll already have that amount and you've got a big step up from the government to help you get towards that deposit. And then the other 90% of the property value, or the 180,000, a bank will lend it to you so that you buy the house and then you pay back the bank in monthly installments, which is your mortgage payment. They will typically charge you an interest rate because you're borrowing their money, but it means that you can buy the house and you're on the property ladder. That bit of deposit that you've put into the property, the 20,000, plus any mortgage payment you make thereafter, builds up the amount of the house you own, and it means the bank own less of it because they have less mortgage outstanding. So that's how a lifetime ISA works. There are some considerations though which are really important to think about before you put money into a lifetime ISA. The first consideration is that it can only be used to buy your first house 12 months after the first payment into the lifetime ISA. Now, I stress the point, the first payment in, because it is not when your ISA is opened. So if you open a lifetime ISA, but you don't pay into it for 6 months, the 12-month clock starts when you've paid in, not when you open the account. So if you're thinking you might want to buy a house and you're thinking, oh, I want that 12 months to start right now, well, open lifetime ISA, put £1 in there, you'll get 25p from the government, but at least then the clock starts ticking on that 12-month period. So if you try and take your money out before age 60 when you can retire, and it's not to buy your first home, remember those are the only two options for a lifetime ISA, deposit for your first home or retirement. So if you take it out without paying for your first home and not as a retirement fund, you face a 25% government penalty on the money in your lifetime ISA that you take out. So for example, if you had £10,000 saved and you said, actually, I need the money to buy a new car, you can take the money out, but the government will charge you 25% of whatever you take as a tax penalty. Now, this is designed to recoup the 25% that's already been paid in by the government. But there is an important consideration to remember, and that's that they take 25% of your whole lifetime ISA pot, not just the 25% they gave you. So for example, if you had put in £4,000, the maximum, the government had matched with their maximum bonus of £1,000, you'd have £5,000 in your overall lifetime ISA. And if you said, I need the money out to buy a car, they would say, okay, you can have it back, but minus the 25% government penalty. Now that will mean that you lose 25% of your full 5,000, not just the £1,000 the government gave you. So you would get back in your pocket £3,750, even though you put in 4,000, which means you lose £250 of your own money. So that's a really important consideration to make. So unless you know you're going to buy your first home with the money, and unless you know it's going to be 12 months or more until you buy that home, a lifetime ISA might not be suitable for you. But if it is suitable and you meet those two objectives, then happy days, you can get 25% government bonus, which can really supercharge your savings towards your first house. There is one other consideration, which is the property price. Unlike the Help to Buy scheme, the Help to Buy ISA, which had some considerations of what properties you could buy and what you couldn't buy, the Lifetime ISA is open to any property types. You can buy a house, an apartment, you can buy a new build, or you can buy an older property. The only factor is the property must not exceed £450,000 when you buy it. If you are thinking of buying a house that's more than £450,000, you will not be able to do so with a lifetime ISA towards your deposit. But anything below £450,000 is fair game. It's also worth noting there's another great way to get some more money out of the government, and that is if you are saving as a couple. So if you are married, if you are together with a partner, or you're friends and you're looking to buy a place together, then you can both maximise your lifetime ISA allowances of £4,000 a year, both receive the government bonus of £1,000 a year, and you're simply doubling the amount of benefit you're getting from the government. So that can be a really powerful way to save towards your first home. Okay, well that's it. That is Lifetime ISAs wrapped up. So let's just summarise what we've spoken about today. A Lifetime ISA is a lifetime individual savings account that can be used for two things, either towards a deposit for your first home or as a retirement fund from when you are 60. Focusing on that first home, you can buy any property you like with a Lifetime ISA as a deposit, as long as it does not exceed £450,000 and you have paid into the ISA at least 12 months before you plan on buying your home. And also remember that if you take your money out without buying your first home and it's not to retire, you'll face a 25% penalty on the whole lot, which means you will lose some of the money that you put in. So it's best to think long and hard before you open a Lifetime ISA to check it is right for you. And as always, if you've got any questions, feel free to comment, reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram, and we'll be happily guide you along the way. So all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching. We're a new channel, so if you've got any comments, any thoughts, any ideas of what we can cover, new format you'd like to see, or any questions, drop it in the comments below, and please do subscribe and set alerts up so that you get a notification of when we release new videos. And yeah, apart from that, look after yourselves, and we'll speak to you soon.